The pick is in.
The Anaheim Ducks have made a selection in the 2024 NHL Draft. I'm Rachel Donner. We are joined by Jason Hernandez of Locked On Ducks to break down the Ducks selecting Beckett Sennecke with their pick in the NHL Draft at third overall, presented by Indeed. There's no I in team, but there is one in Indeed, and that's the hiring platform you need to build yours. To upgrade your job post at indeed.com/locked on. So Seneca was a fast riser approaching the draft, but he still went much higher than expected to the Ducks at 3. Like, is this anything you remotely suspected they would do?
I will just say this: the looks around me, the reaction around me. I'm live at the spirit, by the way, was just shock. And you could even see the camera view. He mouthed something like "holy," like expletive here, because I don't think anybody saw him going third. Because the Ducks, they need defensemen, and they were looking at a right-handed defenseman. So when Levchunov went number 2, we thought there was going to be another defenseman there, maybe a Sam Dickinson of sorts, maybe a Zane Parekh. But going Beckett Sennecke, a forward out of the Ottawa Generals, that was a big-time shock. Now, he is a very dynamic scorer. He's a very creative player, can do very well on the forecheck, good on the rush. And I'm very curious to see, A, where he ends up, and B, if maybe this means there's another move coming at some point soon, because the Ducks could be trading. Who knows what this means?
So, how do you think Seneca could fit into the plan the Ducks have to make a turnaround here?
Oh my God. What a question, Rachel. Where he fits, I would say he's got a humongous upside. I would say second line. Actually, I would love to see the creativity between him and Zegras just for maximum chaos. I would love to see him on maybe a second power play unit with Troy Terry, just to see what kind of movement they can get on that power play. And I think maybe this speaks well with the Ducks getting a new assistant coach in Rich Clune, who is very good at creating dynamic power plays. So maybe this works out for the Ducks as far as improving their power play, because, Rachel, they were like dead last in the power play for most of last season. I mean, they had a historically bad power play recently. So maybe this is the kind of pick-me-up that they need on special teams, particularly power play. So I could see him doing really well on PP2, but also line 2, maybe even line 1 if some shuffling happens.
Yeah, so in terms of expectations around him, do you think he'll play for the team this first year? And like, how do you see that playing out?
From what I just heard right now, it sounds like he's probably going to go back to juniors for one more year. So I don't expect him to be a full-time member of the Ducks yet, but that's just initial thoughts and initial rumblings right now. But I could see him being kind of a long-term, maybe a long-term, not project, but someone that could help the Ducks in maybe 2 to 3 years. And that forward line could be way different, because there's going to be some guys possibly moving. Frank Vetrano, he might not be a Duck after this season for all we know. So I think there's going to be, I think there's going to be some more movement, Rachel. I think guys are going to possibly be traded or let go. I really think so. There's still another day in the draft. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if the Ducks make a move later tonight or tomorrow. They could move up from that 31st pick still at this point.
Well, we'll see if they do that later in this evening. And for more on the Anaheim Ducks, subscribe to Locked On Ducks on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts.
Beckett Sennecke is the 2024 NHL Draft's big late riser, but is he really worth a top 10 pick? I'm Hadi Kalikesh from Locked On NHL Prospects, ready to give you the breakdown. Sennecke is a 6'3", 185-pound right shot right winger who played for the Oshawa Generals in the OHL. He scored 27 goals and 41 assists for 68 points in 63 games and was a key contributor for the Generals in their lengthy OHL playoff run. At the start of the year, Sennecke's elite stick handling, high-end playmaking, and great defensive skills would only really show up in flashes, but its second half of the season saw him make these strengths a night-in, night-out occurrence, and he fully turned the corner from lanky teenager to full-on wizard in the playoffs. In my opinion, Sennecke would be a very good option in the second half of the top 10, especially for a team looking to add a very unique forward with top 6 upside to their prospect pool. For more on Sennecke and all things NHL Draft, follow and subscribe to Locked On NHL Prospects on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts.
For continuing coverage of the 2024 NHL Draft, subscribe to Locked On NHL on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.